That's even older.
All right. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Jeremy.
How's it going?
Good.
Right on.
Oh, Colleen. Hi. it's
Hey, Kay, how are you?
Good. I'm here with my friend Melanie, so we're going to do a twofer, bouncing in and out.
And I'm here with my friend Denise.
Hi, Denise.
Hi. Hi, Jeremy.
Hello, hello. How's it going?
Great. We think we have everything.
Right on. Good to hear. Everybody. So hi, Stephanie. How's it going?
Hi, Jeremy. Happy Friday.
Yeah, happy Friday, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Right, yay.
Okay.
Everybody, I would like to introduce my girlfriend, Ashley Whipple here. She usually is in the background when I'm doing these in the last couple we've done, but since her mother, Deborah, is joining us for the event, we figured it'd be fun to have them both.
Nice. Very good.
Yeah, right on. So yeah, it looks like everybody is here. Yeah, because Jen said she wouldn't be able to join us because she had to work. But yeah, it looks like everybody else is here right now. So yeah, we can get started with just the. First off, I'd like to thank everybody for joining us. You know, these have been fun events to do. This is the first one we're doing with cocktails, so it was exciting to see that we had so many people who were interested in doing it. Because yeah, usually we've just been doing like the straight whiskeys or the straight agave spirits as we did last time. So yeah, excited to get this started. To be honest, one of the main reasons why I wanted to do this is because I myself am starting to get into making more cocktails myself. I used to do a lot more of just the straight on the rocks, having whatever it is on the rocks. But now I've been, growing up as an adult, trying to do more cocktails. So, yeah, I think gin's a good one to start with too. It is a great base for a lot of different things. So you can do a lot of different cocktails. So we have 3 very distinct styles. And, I'll be talking more later, but let me introduce y'all to Stephanie Jerzy, who is the spokesperson for Forward's Gin Tonic.
Oh, hello, everyone.
Hello. Hi.
Thanks, Jeremy, for the intro there. I think the timing is perfect right now that we're doing not only just a cocktail class in general, but a gin cocktail class. It is peak gin season when the weather is warm like this, and all the drinks that we're gonna make today are just gonna be, number one, no more than 3 ingredients for any of them. Yay for that.
Good.
Super refreshing and just perfect for this warm summer weather of ours right now. So I'm really looking forward to this. I think we're gonna have a lot of fun tonight.
I should say it. Sure, yeah. So yeah, we do have a couple videos that we will show you all that have the brand ambassador Joe Brooks making the cocktails, the 3 cocktails that we're going to be making tonight. But before we get started, does anybody have any questions or anything they'd like to throw out?
I do have a question. Should we have all of our ingredients and some ice in here where we're working? Because I didn't bring it all in. I'm not that organized.
Well, we'll be doing them one at a time, so you can take like a little break. We'll take a little break if everyone would like in between, so you can get to the ingredients for each cocktail. But yeah, so we'll have a little time in between.
Yeah, so I do have my station set up right now. I have 3 different glasses in front of me. I have my lime juice and lemon juice already prepped, same with my syrups. I've got an ice bucket next to me as well. You'll also want a cocktail shaker if you don't have one. It could be a 2-piece, it can be just a simple pint glass, whatever works for you. A jigger also is very helpful for measuring ounces as well. I have a 2-piece here, but very simple cooking jigger, to measure ounces also works just as well. So use what you have on hand, make it your own. Again, this should be fun, not a science, and so don't be worried about getting it exactly right. Use what you have at home to make it work.
And also, if
we'll
you don't
watch the
have
videos, and then I'll do a demonstration afterwards as well. We'll go one at a time.
Sorry, Stephanie. Yeah, but yeah, if y'all don't have a measurer like this, a jigger, you could also use a shot glass. Shot glass is about 1.5 ounces. So, or you're basically doing 3/4 an ounce pours, so you can also measure it through that on the glass itself. before I started, like I said, when I was just drinking stuff straight, if I ever did have to measure anything, I would just grab a shot glass and use that as my measuring
There we
stick.
go.
So
Oh, that was perfect, Jeremy. Good call there.
We are at Airbnb in Delmar right now.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I wasn't able to hear you. In the
Oh, no. Can you hear me now?
Yes, better. Mhm.
All right, no, I was just saying we are at an Airbnb in Del Mar right now, just away for a few days, and it's very bare bones, and so we are we've got a number of things to try and figure this together. So
Okay.
Fine.
Yeah, you
We
know, that's
are
always
here for this journey with you. We are going to figure it out. We're going to make it work.
exactly. You know, it's Friday night. You know, it's always time for new adventures.
Exactly. There's always the good old eyeball test too. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right on. So yeah, so the first cocktail we are going to be making tonight will be the Gimlet. And yeah, so I actually watched this video earlier that Joe is in. He has some really cool information about it. So instead of trying to act like it was my words, I'm just gonna start the video. Stephanie, anything you'd like to add before I put the video on?
No, just if you all can put yourselves on mute, especially while the videos are playing, that's very helpful. So that way you can hear everything that Joe has to say. Once we get through the first video, I will follow up and I'll take us through kind of a step-by-step on how to make it in real time right now. And then also we'll give you a little more of a story on Fords as a brand.
All right, right on. So let me pull up the video real quick, get this started for y'all.
Hello, my name's Joe Brooke and I'm with the Ford's Gin Company, and this is the history of gin according to cocktails. You should all have received a kit by now with all the ingredients that you need to make a couple of really important historical cocktails that I'm going to talk a little bit about as we make them. In essence, gin is a juniper-flavored spirit infused with several other botanicals to give it character, complexity, and depth. Historically, juniper berry was shown to have several healthful effects. It was used by doctors to treat lumbago, it would treat asthma, it could help with several other blood-borne illnesses. Generally, it was the acai superfruit back in the day, and it wasn't until several hundred years later they realized it tasted pretty good in a cocktail too. The history of gin is a very long one, and I promise I'm not going to bore you to death with it. I will say that it started out for medicinal purposes only, and it wasn't until a couple of hundred years later that they realized it tasted pretty good in a cocktail too. Gin is essentially a juniper-flavored spirit distilled with several other botanicals, citruses, fruits, roots, nuts, seeds, to give character, complexity, and depth to an otherwise neutral spirit. Our goal with Ford's was to create the cocktail gin, essentially a gin that could plug into any cocktail that you put it in, a jack of all trades. The cocktails that we're going to make today not only have historical significance with the history of gin, specifically the London Dry category, but they're also meant to showcase the individual botanicals of Ford's gin. So once you've had a chance to open up your box and look at everything inside, maybe make some syrups, squeeze some citrus, let's make a few cocktails, shall we? The first cocktail we're going to make is called the Gimlet. The ingredients you're going to need are your Ford's gin, fresh squeezed lime juice, and simple syrup. Simple syrup is essentially equal parts sugar and water, stir until dissolved. Good to go. Now the Gimlet is a very interesting cocktail because it was born of necessity. This wasn't something that was lying around and people were like, oh, this will taste good together. We have the British Royal Navy to thank for this, where the officers on all of Her Majesty's enlisted ships were given rations of gin, whereas the sailors were only allowed to drink rum. Everyone aboard Her Majesty's ships was given their daily ration of lime juice to stave off scurvy. It was a very deadly disease due to a vitamin C deficiency. If left unattended, scurvy could kill a sailor. It was only a matter of time before the officers realized if they were to combine their ration of gin with their ration of lime juice, they could create an amazing cocktail. The name itself, the Gimlet, is named after the tool, a very large corkscrew that would pop open barrels of booze aboard the ships. Today's Gimlet, because we like a little bit of sugar with it, we have our simple syrup, lime juice, and the gin. The reason why we love a Ford's Gimlet is because lime juice pairs effortlessly well with the grapefruit and lemon peel found in our gin. Citrus will always go with citrus, and you want something light, bright, and peppy. If you want to recommend a cocktail that tastes like liquid sunshine, make your friends a Gimlet. First things first, simple syrup. 3/4 of an ounce. If you want yours a little sweeter, you can go a little over, but I like mine a little more tart. As such, instead of going equal parts, I'm going to go 1 full ounce of this lime juice. And when it comes time for the gin, I'm going to go for a full 1.5 ounces. The proper garnish for a gimlet, rather the proper glass for a gimlet, is probably not what they used on board. This is not a glass that you would associate with a sailor. But always ask if your guest wants the gimlet straight up or on the rocks. I prefer mine straight up. Put in your cocktail shaker, give it a nice seal. And then you have one of the simplest, most straightforward cocktails in the gin category. Finish with just the right garnish, a little lime wheel, and you have your gimlet. Perfect for onboard ships or just on a really nice day. Keep that scurvy at bay.
Amazing start. I hope everyone just learned something.
Yes.
Yes.
That was very interesting.
Great. Yeah,
Can you guys hear
feel,
me?
I'm sorry.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, Deborah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, all good. I also have the chat feature up, so feel free to use the chat feature too, and I can see any questions or comments you may have along the way as well. So before we get into making the cocktail, let me tell you a little bit more about Ford's Gin. You all have your bottle with you as well too.
I already made it. I already made it.
Oh, you already made it. Fabulous. You're a step ahead of me.
Okay, I'm ready to play. I like it.
Well, then you just go ahead and sit back and relax. So Ford's Gin, this lovely bottle that you all have at home with you tonight, was created from the international bar community. And why we have it today was really designed to be the cocktail gin. So it's perfect that we're doing this cocktail class tonight. Ford's is really derived from a traditional style of gin, a London dry gin, as you may have heard before. And that's because a lot of our base is comprised of juniper. Juniper and coriander are going to be the two dominant botanicals that you're going to find in your product. So you guys can see here, just so you see it in its raw form, we have juniper berries and also coriander seeds here. These two ingredients alone, when we extract their essential oils, make up 80% of the botanical blend in Ford's Gin. In addition to that, we have two other baskets, if you will, of different botanicals that we're making. We have our citrus basket, and then we have our aromatics. So this cocktail, the Gimlet that we're talking about right now, as Joe mentioned, really drives into our citrus elements. We're using 3 different types of citrus peels when we distill Ford's Gin. So we're taking those citrus, we're extracting the oils out of those peels, and then we macerate it to make an essential oil. So here we've got grapefruit peel. You guys can see, I wish you could smell this at home with me. We also have lovely lemon peel. And then we're using orange peel. You can also follow this along on the bottle at home as well. If you look on the side label, you will see all the ingredients that we have in our Ford's Gin right here. So you can pretty much follow along exactly with me to see everything as well as where the origin of these botanicals are coming from. So our juniper, for instance, is coming from Italy, which is one of the most protected regions for juniper and some of the best sources for juniper in the world. So we're really going to the right sources when we're sourcing our botanicals, making sure that we're getting those elements that are really going to stand out, be their purest form, and really lend themselves to our gin. And then I will get into the other ones as we move forward as well, into the aromatics a little bit later. But let's go ahead now and make that lovely Gimlet cocktail. And that way we can start drinking, right? This is the fun part. So I have my cocktail shaker here at home. I have a little bit of ice in my larger tin. and I'm going to build my cocktail in the smaller tin. But again, use whatever you have at home. If it's a pint glass, if you have a 3-piece shaker, like James Bond used to have, feel free to use that too, whatever works for you. I'm going to start by adding my simple syrup. So simple syrup, as Joe mentioned, is equal parts sugar to water. And again, you can have fun with this too as you're experimenting more with cocktails. You can use brown sugar, you can use cane sugar, you can do different ratios of water to sugar and play with that over time as well too. We're doing just a simple 1-to-1 ratio here today. So with that said, we're also going to do 3/4 of an ounce into our tin of simple syrup.
An ounce, okay.
Is this little thingy an ounce? Sorry, this little shot glass?
The shot glass is usually 1.5 ounces. So I would probably go halfway.
Okay, all right. Just checking. Don't want to overdo the simple syrup. Don't want it to take away from the gin taste.
No, we don't want to take away. But again, everything in ratios, right? So we're going to keep it really simple ratios today.
Okay.
Where for the most part, we're going to be doing 3/4 to 1.5 or 1 to 2.
Okay,
What was
Should be
next?
easy to kind of eyeball that way as well.
okay.
What was the second thing?
The second ingredient is going to be lime juice. So with that, I'm going to do 3/4 of an ounce lime juice. If you want to make it a little more tart, like Joe said, you can do a full ounce, but I'm going to go for the 3/4.
We're gonna do
I like to keep it nice and balanced.
perfect. Okay.
All right, and then we're going to get into our lovely Ford's gin.
Yay.
If this is your first time opening up a bottle of Ford's, please take a moment just to smell it right off the nose. You're going to get all that lovely citrus notes that are coming through. Same with that juniper. That definitely has that juniper presence there. A little bit of that Christmas pine tree is coming from the juniper berries. But all that together, really just nosing it, is a beautiful bouquet of botanicals. You're getting, again, the spices, the florals, and the aromatics in there. So with this, we're going to go full ounce and then a half ounce. So 1.5 together.
Oh, a full ounce and a half. So
I don't think I put enough in mine. I'm gonna put more.
Okay, so
That's a great idea.
a full. What'd you say, 1.5?
1.5. Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay.
full shot glass then. Yeah.
All right.
Yes. Full shot glass.
Well, we did a full plus a little.
There you go. Yeah,
Even
little
better.
kick. It's a Friday night. Yeah.
Yeah.
Once you have that, you're going to add your ice and give it a really solid shake.
Okay.
It's in the
Solid.
cracker. Don't shook it too well. I am nowhere near as dexterous as Joe is when he's doing this. He makes it look so smooth and seamless. I am nowhere near Joe's level, but makes it all the more fun still doing it at home. So I have, I prefer mine to be up neat as well. So I have a lovely cocktail glass here, some vintage glasses that I have. I'm gonna pour in.
Oh, I forgot to do
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Yeah, I should have poured it from there. Maybe I'll pour it back in.
I don't have the little lime thing like she does, but I'm gonna just put a squeeze.
So
Well,
here we have it.
oh, well, we put the other juice in. Did you need more?
And
Well,
for garnish, Joe did a lime wheel. I have a lime wedge here just because it was simpler for me to cut it the way I was squeezing my,
Yeah,
my
me
lime
too.
juice earlier.
yeah.
So I'm going to garnish that on top. And there you have a simple yet very refreshing Ford's Gin Gimlet.
Yummy.
Hey,
Oh,
That's good.
that's really good. Oh my
Mhm.
gosh.
They're only gonna get better.
This more often.
I know.
Again, this started as a drink for medicinal purposes, but I much prefer it in this state now.
Yeah.
Oh my
no, I like it for medicinal purposes.
I'm sure it's
I'm
gonna cure a lot of
tell
things.
My husband, medicinal purposes all the way.
You gotta keep
Amen.
that scurvy. Yeah. It's important.
No scurvy for me.
Yeah.
That's tasty.
It's funny. It's my grandma. One of her favorite drinks is a gimlet, but she likes a vodka gimlet more than a gin one. And I always thought it was going to be like a complicated drink to make for her or something, but like knowing this is just, yeah, I can easily do this for her anytime. She'll be very happy about it.
It's got kind of like a sounding complicated name. You'd think it requires a lot of stuff, unlike a gin and tonic, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely an extra step from a gin tonic, but again, really simple, 3 ingredients. And again, for the most part, stuff you probably just have around the house already, as far as the fresh citrus goes. And the simple syrup, again, there are store-bought ones if you want to go that route, but it's very, as you all probably experience, very simple to make at home too.
I like this.
I like it too. I like the lime juice.
Yeah,
It
really
mixes well.
good.
Yeah.
I like it with the cucumber. Have you guys tried it with the cucumber?
Oh, okay. I've never done that before. That's a good
That's
touch.
a great variation too.
Oh,
Yeah.
cucumber is great with gin.
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, that's why yeah, there's a couple. I know there's one big brand that uses cucumber as one of their botanicals. Yeah, it's always good. Always a nice touch.
Yes, cucumber plays so well too. So again, if you want to zhuzh this drink up, you can absolutely muddle a little bit of cucumber in your cocktail glass before you do it. And you
Oh,
get some of
that's a
that,
good idea.
you can get some of that flavor incorporated too. And instead of the lime wheel, do a cucumber wheel on top as your garnish. Definitely fun ways you can play with it.
That's
When
delicious.
I ordered this drink in bars, I don't think they were using the simple syrup because I can remember just it like cocktails in bars, Gimlet in bars, just being like really mouth puckering. But I think
Yeah,
that the
so-
simple syrup really tempers the lime juice.
That's a great point. A lot of recipes that you'll find out there for the gimlet actually call for lime cordial instead of simple syrup, which is a processed lime juice with a lot of that citric acid in there. That gives it a little that pucker effect, if you will. So a lot of gimlets that you'll find in different recipe books will say the lime cordial, but again, I prefer it keeping it completely classic this way, sticking with basic ingredients and really bringing out the freshness of that lime juice mixed with the simple together just keeps it, at least for me, a lot more balanced without that pucker effect. And just, again, I mean, it's pretty crushable drink, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, especially with this warm weather we're having right now. This is a great one for the weekends and yeah, hanging out, trying to stay cool.
It is. This is a perfect summer cocktail right now. And again, very approachable as well. As is the next one that we're going to make. So if there are no other questions on this one, I'd just say everyone again, if you can mute yourselves for a few minutes and we'll share a video with our next cocktail.
Yeah, so the next one's going to be the bee's knees. So if you do need to gather your ingredients, this one you would need lemon juice, the honey syrup, and then lemon twist if you prefer, and of course your gin. So yeah, I will get the video started from Joe.
Perfect.
Why do we have the peppercorns?
So that's going to be for the gin and tonic, which is the last drink we'll be making.
Oh, okay. Yay! I have to get another glass.
Want a clean glass.
I like these glasses.
So the next cocktail we're going to make is a bramble. Now the bramble is a 1990s invention by, rest in peace,
What happened to him?
Oh, he started making something else.
Oh, that's pretty.
It's a bramble.
The next cocktail we're going to do is called the bee's knees. Now, there's a lot of people out there who think that all of the best cocktails in the world came from Prohibition. That is not true. There was maybe 5 good cocktails that came out of Prohibition. For those of you that don't know, Prohibition is when we tried to legislate morality and everything went underground. It's how NASCAR got started, how the Kennedys made their money, and it's basically how a lot of bootleggers made their money making real cheap booze knockoffs. A lot of the bartenders had to come up with some pretty inventive ingredients to mask an inferior quality spirit, and the bee's knees stands out to this day as one of the greatest gin cocktails in the world that came from Prohibition. The ingredients you're going to need are forged gin, fresh squeezed lemon juice, and honey syrup. For those of you that don't know, honey syrup is equal parts honey and hot water stirred until it's clear. The reason why you want to dilute honey is if you just put honey in the cocktail shaker and shake it up and it gets a little too cold, it's going to stick to the side of the tin without having fully dissolved. And that's going to throw the balance of the cocktail off. So we're going to make what we lovingly call runny honey. Now here's the thing with honey. The way that honey is made, it's very floral. From some sort of, whichever pollinator it comes from, avocado honey, orange flower honey, clover honey, any type of honey, it's going to have a very floral aspect. Any gin that has floral botanicals, such as jasmine, is going to pair very well with honey cocktails. The Bee's Knees is one of the cocktails that we knew we wanted to make a gin around. Rather than make something that's going to fit the gin, we wanted to go the other way around, if that makes sense. Honey is a very common ingredient behind bars, and living in California, we have access to all sorts of honey. This one is orange blossom honey. It pairs effortlessly well with any sort of citrus. We're going to go 1 full ounce of runny honey in the tin. Next, 1 full ounce of lemon juice. It's okay to go equal parts with this one because the honey is so different from simple syrup. There's so many more layers and levels to it that it's okay if it skews a little sweet. The brightness, the acidity of the gin, the dryness of the cocktail is going to come through even if you're a little heavy with the pour of the honey. And then as always, another 1.5 ounces of Ford's gin. What I love about this cocktail is that it doesn't need a garnish. It's that good. It's only 3 ingredients. It doesn't even need to leave the house with a hat on. And there we have the Bee's Knees.
All right.
That's really
Everyone
good.
feel prepared for this one? Again, 3 ingredients. Keep it nice and simple. Amazing. So as Joe mentioned with this drink, he called out a couple of the other botanicals that are in Ford's gin. And so I just wanted to address those as well too before we make this drink. I covered off on 5 of the botanicals already in Ford's gin, and I'm going to introduce the last 4 to you. Again, you can follow along with me on the side of the label if you want to see what we're talking about. This is our aromatic family, if you will. And I like to split this up into 2 categories. We have sort of our base notes and we have our top notes. I'm going to start with the base notes. And what I mean by base notes is that these botanicals in particular have a lot of properties that they really hold on. And from a science perspective, they actually latch on to the neutral grain spirit. So a lot of these ingredients right now that I'm showing you, we have angelica root here. And then we also have orris root. These are 2 of the most used botanicals that actually come for perfumes as well. And the reason is because they stick so well to that neutral spirit for perfumes. And that's how it sticks and holds onto your skin. So essentially that's what we're doing with these ones too, is we're using these as that base note to help bring all these flavors together in this lovely gin and really hold on to that juniper and hold on to those lovely citrus peels that you guys are smelling as you have our gin. Okay. The last 2 are our top notes, and these are going to be a little more of the floral element. So the first one, I'm trying, again, I wish you guys could smell this all at home with me and I could have sent you every botanical under the sun. This is jasmine. So we've got the little jasmine buds here. And again, just this lovely floral element is really going to play with the honey syrup that we're using for this cocktail coming up. And then I also have cassia bark. Does anyone know cassia bark?
No, Casio player. That's about it.
Of what? Player. What did he play?
Cassia is a member of the cinnamon family. So this smells like cinnamon is smacking you right in the face. But again, has this lovely brightness to it as opposed to the more savory cinnamon that we think of traditionally, you know, in those mulling spices. This one's a little bit brighter in character, but comes from the same family as cinnamon. So we have those 2 together, the cinnamon and or the cassia and the jasmine. adding that lovely floral note here to our Ford's Gin. And that's rounding out the botanical profile. So we're taking all 9 of those essential oils. And again, we put them in what's called a botanical basket. And then that basket is then macerated with our neutral grain spirit. And that is how we make our Ford's Gin. This is all coming out of the UK. We have a lovely distillery just south of London in Thames that, again, you can see on the bottle here. It gives you the whole story. We're steeping our botanicals for 15 hours, and then we cook it. And that's where we raise the proof, and then all the water drips down, and then we're left with that, essentially those botanical and the neutral grain spirit. That cook time is 5 hours. So in total, it's a nearly 24-hour process in order for us to make Ford's Gin. How does Ford's pair with floral liqueurs like elderflower? Oh, it's lovely, lovely, lovely. Yes, Ford's and elderflower work great together too. Again, a really great way to utilize that. Ford's Gin with an elderflower liqueur and a gin tonic, similar to what we're going to make now. You can change up the tonic profile. You can find one that has more of a Mediterranean profile, for example, and that's a really great way to bring out the elderflower note and really latch into some of those citrus elements that are in our gin.
Thanks.
Great question. Yeah.
Great question.
All right, so let's make a bee's knees. So we're gonna start again, we're gonna build with our syrup, with our sweetener, with our lime, with our citrus, and then with the gin. So everybody, we're gonna start with their honey syrup, right? Just like Joe mentioned, I actually have orange blossom honey here with me that I did with a little bit of syrup to make honey syrup here. So we're gonna do 1 ounce of our honey water.
So I didn't have any honey syrup, so quickly I plopped some honey and water in the microwave.
That's
There
perfect.
you go.
That'll work.
Exactly. Yep.
And this would also work with simple syrup too. Again, the honey just adds that extra richness to this cocktail. As you see, we'll keep it nice and balanced. And then with this honey syrup, we're going to pair lemon juice. So a full ounce of lemon juice here. All right, and then we're going to grab our Ford's Gin again. 1.5 ounces of Ford's Gin. Again, if you go over a little bit, no.
I need to put a little more in.
You betcha.
All right, then you're going to add your ice and give this a nice shake as well.
Oh, someone muted her.
Who's muted?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that come. All right, we're going to give this a nice strain. And like Joe said, this one is so simple, it doesn't need a garnish, but if you do want to put a lemon peel and get a little bit of that extra lemon oils extracted over this cocktail is another lovely finish as well, but it is beautiful on its own. So cheers everyone to the bee's knees.
Cheers.
The bee's knees is actually good because I'm not a honey lover.
Mhm.
Ah.
It's really good.
Wonderful, yay.
Tasty.
Very tasty.
This is one of my personal favorite cocktails. And again, 3 ingredients, very simple. I don't even need a garnish for it. This is definitely one of my go-tos at home. My boyfriend has this recipe on standby for me as well too. He knows what's up. He knows what's up.
Does the shape of the glass make a difference? Because we're using kind of like cocktail glasses. And
Cocktail glass
oh
is
my God,
perfect as well.
wine or champagne, sometimes the bubbles and all that, you know, does it make a difference for these gin drinks?
For the ones we're doing today, not so much. Again, there's a lot of flexibility with these. The main difference I would say, you know, using a cocktail glass versus a rock, you know, or a coupe, I should say, you know, a rounded glass such as this versus a cocktail glass is really comes down to ice and whether you're going to be resting your cocktail on ice when you serve it versus having something served neat. When you want to drink served neat, having a smaller shaped glass that, you know, it doesn't have the density and the depth to it, usually goes for a neat cocktail versus something where like an old fashioned, a margarita, anything that has ice with it, you would want to probably do in something that's a little bit, has more depth to it.
I was wondering what the glasses meant, the type of glasses meant for the drink.
Yeah.
Same.
Nice.
All sorts of fun stuff.
Yeah.
But again, this is supposed to be fun. This is supposed to be for you. There are many, many nights where, again, my boyfriend has this drink on standby and I do not get it in this glass. I will tell you that. So you do what works for you best. If you're in an Airbnb, use what's around, you know, you make it work for you. Make it work for you. It should be fun.
There you go, a coffee cup.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, as long as it can hold the
The
alcohol.
most important thing is, I think, the ingredients that you're using.
The Late Show host too.
Love it. Oh my gosh, this is delicious.
Fun.
We not
It
know
just-
I know, I feel bad pulling you all away from these two drinks and we're gonna go make one more, but
Oh my goodness.
got lots of options this evening and now you all know how to do these yourselves too. So I hope you continue enjoying this.
Let's go get another
as
glass.
well.
Yeah. So yeah, the next and last cocktail will be the gin and tonic. So that is what was in your package. Along in your package was the peppercorns and the marigold. So we'll be using that in the next drink. And also the tonic water that was given to you as well, or that you received as well. But let's hear Joe talk about it first.
Good. I like the gimlet.
Me too. Geez, I can't mix.
Last but not least, we're going to go to Spain and we're going to make a Spanish style gin tonic, arguably the apex of achievement in the world of gin and tonics. Now, as the Spaniards are big wine drinkers historically, their enjoyment of music, of food, of dance, of all these things, it was only a matter of time before their appreciation of the humble gin tonic was brought through the stratosphere. The two ingredients of the gin tonic is Ford's gin and Q tonic. Moving it to a wine goblet to accentuate the aromas and the flavors, we have all these different garnishes you can choose from. Now, the way that we do it at Ford's is that we have different profiles that we like to drink our gin tonics. We have a soft mix, we have a very citrusy mix, but I prefer the aromatic mix. And that's the one I'm going to make for you right now. You have juniper berries, you have marigold, hibiscus, and cardamom. But bear with me, it sounds like it's a lot of stuff to put in the glass, but all together, it really comes together and makes a wonderful, wonderful cocktail experience. We're going to start, as always, with 1.5 ounces of Ford's. Now, the good rule of thumb for any gin tonic, obviously depending on the kind of day you've had, maybe you want something a little stiffer, but 1 part gin to 2 parts tonic. Because you have that much more tonic in your glass, it's very important that you go with a quality tonic like Q to help balance out all these other botanical flavors. So you go 2 parts that. Now, we have the gin tonic. Most people will just kind of stop here. Some people even take a little squeeze of lime, maybe a little lemon twist, but this is sort of like a choose your own adventure you get to drink. And by incorporating certain elements, let's say we want to accentuate the juniper note by sprinkling a couple of juniper berries on top. Then you have marigold, very warm, floral. Maybe get a little blossom in there as well. You never want too much. You put too much in the cocktail glass and it's going to start looking like a cup of minestrone. You want to avoid that. A couple of pinches of hibiscus flower right there. And finish it off with maybe 2 or 3 cardamom pods. Very, very, very strong flavor and scent. You put those in there. Then you make sure to get the right size straw in there. And you effectively have a gin tonic that defies the boundaries of the traditional 2-ingredient tipple. But every time, the reason why you want to have all those botanicals on top, every time you bring your mouth close to it to take a sip, you're transported to this botanical garden of your dreams. And it's a delightful experience. And it also looks really nice. You can't underestimate the whole visual appeal of the Spanish style gin tonic. This is one of the 3 that we suggest. For our aromatic mix, we go with cardamom, juniper berries, jasmine, and marigold.
All right.
All right, nobody be daunted by this. This is going to be a lot of fun here. So we are going to make a Spanish style gin and tonic today. Again, going back to the conversation we just had about glassware, use whatever you have on hand. If you do have a wine goblet or a large, burgundy wine glass, absolutely go ahead and give, grab one of those. So that way, again, you have a large enough opening on top, open up a large enough lip that you'll be able to smell everything as we add these lovely botanicals to our glass. But if you have a highball, if you have a tall Collins glass, use whatever you have. Again, this is supposed to be fun. It's not a perfect science and nobody's judging how this looks. So we'll have some fun with this.
I usually typically make my gin and tonics in like a pint glass, but when I saw the wine glass, I was like, that's a nice touch. It's a very, I like it, especially for the aromatic part since we're adding things to it. I think it's a nice little,
Yeah, if any of you have had the opportunity to travel to Spain before, this is how they traditionally serve them throughout Spain. Gin is one of the most popular spirits in the country. They go through a lot of gin compared to us in the US, believe it or not. And how they usually serve it is, again, in these large wine goblets for the gin tonics, and they have all these lovely botanicals in them as well too. It is really meant, again, to be sort of that afternoon cocktail to savor, to sip, to smell, and really just kind of enjoy and relax in it. So we're gonna have some fun with this. If you have this glass, join along with me. If not, please use whatever you have. We're gonna start by adding ice to our glass. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a few big ice pieces here. Again, don't need that fancy bartender ice. Use what you have at home. All right, so I've got some ice in here. I'm gonna start, as Joe said, we're gonna do a ratio of essentially 1 part gin to 2 parts tonic. So I'm gonna start with my gin. And I'm gonna do a full 1.5 ounces of Ford's gin.
Is it 1.5?
Full one, yeah, the full, yeah.
So full shot glass for those of you at home.
Oh, full shot glass. I did a
And then I know we're all using the Fever Tree tonight. Doesn't have to be Q. Any quality tonic. Again, you're using a quality gin. You want a quality tonic to match with it. So Fever Tree is another wonderful option out there that you all are using this evening that you got in the kits. So again, 2 parts of your tonic water to the 1 part gin. So again, if you want to eyeball it and just go straight in, go for it. If you want to use your measuring cup and do 2 measures of tonic, feel free to do so.
2 of those.
Okay.
Pouring it into the jigger first and then into your glass isn't going to really affect the carbonation too much. It's really if you start to shake it around is when things will get a little more agitated, but doing this gentle pour should not affect any of the bubbles.
Smells good.
Smells good already. We haven't even added the botanicals. There's the fun part now. So what I gave to you tonight, we're going to kind of go a savory route in terms of making our gin tonic this evening, Spanish style. So you all should have a mix of peppercorns. I gave you both black and pink peppercorns here that are going to really bring out this lovely savory note, a little bit of spiciness to it. So if you have a small tablespoon or a teaspoon, or again, if you just want to use your fingers, just grab a small amount. You guys can kind of see here how much I'm grabbing as a point of reference, just a little tablespoon's worth here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I'm just going to float these gently on top of my glass.
So gently, gently, you guys. Okay.
And already, again, just that lovely spice note should be coming through and sort of warming you up as we're playing with this here, right? Already just
Wow, that's That's crazy.
Melding with that tonic water together is just beautiful. And then the next we have the marigold. I labeled it calendula, is actually the leaf that we're using. It comes from, it's a pot of marigold plant. This is great to make teas at home with too. If you ever want to use this for teas, you can macerate the calendula. But again, go ahead and give it a smell on its own already if you haven't.
A little bit more of a kind of bittery.
Yeah.
How cozy is that, right?
Yeah.
It just smells so lovely, so warming. So I'm using some tweezers here. Again, use your fingers, pour it directly from the bag. You don't, again, want to overwhelm too much, and you don't want to be drinking a salad, right? So we want to be mindful of how much we're putting in. So I like to do this just a few pieces at a time. If you want to do the individual leaves, if you want to use one of the whole flowers too, again, this is edible. But I'm going to just kind of stick with some of the leaves here today. So
I'm just going to put 2 flowers.
again, I've just got a tweezer's worth here, but it could be, that's again, just, you know, a finger pinch. And I'm going to throw these.
Way to get all
The leaves.
Yeah. Okay. Oops. Made a mess. Okay.
Grab just a couple more pieces of ice
I do.
because it is a hot Friday and I'm in a lemon jacket for some reason. If you have a straw, great. If not, no worries about that either. I've got just a petite little straw here as well. And this is your savory Spanish Ford's Gin and Tonic.
Right on. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers, everybody. Salud.
Smells delish.
Mm.
I have a question.
Yes.
That's really good.
I'm a big gin and tonic fan and have experimented with different tonics. Fever Tree is great. I actually prefer the Mediterranean over the Indian. Does it, I don't know if other tonic makers differentiate like that, but does it make a difference between the type of tonic that you use? Or I guess what's the difference between the types of tonic?
Yeah, that's a great question. So my biggest thing I will say, it's not necessarily preferring one brand over the other, but I do recommend, again, when you're using a quality spirit, you want to use a quality tonic to match it, right? Especially when your drink is more mixer than it is spirit, right? You want to use a quality, quality mixer. So Fever Tree is a lovely one. Q Drinks also makes great tonics, and they have different styles as well to match it, again, with different flavor profiles. Another more boutique tonic brand out there is East Imperial, is another newer one on the market, and they make a whole range of different styles as well. So the Mediterranean from Fever Tree is a great option. I'm using the Indian tonic tonight. Again, it's what I had at home, but a lot of the main difference really is coming down. There's just some natural flavorings and botanicals that they're using to enhance that quinine. So again, it's very minimal as far as the differences between them. But again, play around with it, experiment. If you use one over the other, you'll find sometimes that when you're using Ford's in particular, with the Indian tonic, I end up getting more of the citrus elements that come through. With the Mediterranean, some more of that juniper really is more pronounced to me.
Floral, yeah.
Yeah. But again, just find those different, those different mixes and play around with it. That's what's so fun about this drink, is that there's so many different ways that you can style up this drink. We were talking about cucumber before. You can muddle some cucumber and throw that in here as well too. Do that with a little bit of lime juice, and you have a perfect cucumber gin and tonic right there. Grapefruit peel is another one of my favorites. Doing a grapefruit peel in a Spanish gin and tonic with a cinnamon stick is a lovely spicy gin and tonic, actually. I love that combination of the two together. Really what it comes down to is
fresh grapefruit.
Yeah, you could add a splash of fresh grapefruit in there too to go with that citrus peel. Absolutely.
I like those grapefruit bitters. The grapefruit bitters are really good with.
Yeah, it gives the
with
It's an
aromatics for sure.
excellent way to incorporate that too, is through the bitters. Absolutely.
I was
And-
just telling my friends here that I got into gin tonics in Barcelona because it's their national drink.
Mhm.
And every time you'd go to a bar, they'd hear the particular gin with a different tonic, with a different garnish. And it was just like mind blowing. It was like, what do you mean you have to drink the same tonic with each gin? You know, what do you,
Yes.
you don't just put a lime wedge on everything.
For sure, yeah. And Robin, you were asking earlier about elderflower. We actually, from Fever Tree, there is an elderflower tonic that we carry too. So
Oh, really?
yeah, so you can do it in liqueur as well, but yeah, there's also the tonic version, so you can do that with just a classic gin and tonic with the
Oh,
choice too.
good.
Yeah.
I bought that liqueur for me today.
Okay, yeah. Hey, the Sam Elder's really good too. So yeah, you'll work out with that too for sure.
Yeah, really, when it comes down to building a Spanish style gin and tonic, there's really kind of 3 buckets you want to think about. You want to think about your citrus. You want to think about your fresh. So whether that's, again, using cucumber as an example. And then you want your aromatic. So think, again, back to the spices and the botanicals that are on that Ford's label. So you can use a cinnamon stick. You can use jasmine buds. You can use the marigold, the calendula that we're using today. You want to have that aromatic element balanced with the citrus element, balanced with that savory element.
I've had it with raspberry as well.
Raspberries are beautiful.
yeah,
Yes.
totally.
Yeah.
Mhm. Raspberries, pinch of lemon juice, and you can throw in a rosemary sprig.
Oh.
Mwah.
Stephanie, do you eat the peppercorns, or they're just there for the aromatic?
More for aromatics. If you eat one, it's certainly not gonna, affect you, but they're definitely more for savoring with,
Okay.
from your
Just
nose
curious.
element than drinking.
Okay.
Describe.
But again, everything is edible. Same with the calendula. It is all safe to eat or to drink.
Very tasty. Very good.
Yeah. Right on. So anybody have any favorites from tonight out of the 3? You found out you really like a Gimlet, Bee's Knees blew your mind, classic gin and tonic. Anybody have a favorite?
Oh, definitely the last one. Oh my goodness, I
3.
love all of these aromatics. But I learned a new word. I mean, I knew the word gimlet, but I didn't know what it
Me
originated.
too.
Yeah,
Me too.
same here.
I
Yeah.
was surprised that I liked the gimlet as much as I did.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right on.
I really like the gimlets.
Yeah, so did I.
So did we. We're Gimlet fans
But I
here.
learned more about the gin tonic.
This is true.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, very
Love
true.
Gin tonic. That's
Hey, and Jeremy, can you see my passion fruit back there? That goes into gin tonic sometimes too.
Oh, nice.
That's a great
Yeah.
idea.
Yes.
Cool.
I showed that for you guys.
Yeah, I might have to
We have a passion fruit.
Yeah,
I know, I've heard. You and I
That's
can
awesome.
pollinate. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I have hundreds and hundreds.
Oh my gosh, so many right now.
Randy?
Well, I think I've always been like a dirty gin drinker, but I think I
Girl
need to
after my heart.
expand some of my drinks, expand them.
We love you, Mom.
These are wonderful.
Yeah.
I love
that's-
me a dirty gin martini too.
Oh,
Do
me
not get
too.
wrong. I was drinking them last night, actually, as a matter of fact.
Yeah,
But
and that's-
especially, for summer months when it's hot out, I know some of you are enjoying your drinks outdoors right now. The drinks we were making today, I really wanted to keep, more light, bright, simple ingredients, and again, just super refreshing.
Yeah.
If anything, again, I hope that, the takeaway from this today is just recognizing how versatile Ford's is as a cocktail gin. That's really what this brand was designed for. It was designed by bartenders for bartenders to really fit the mold for every historic gin cocktail that's out there. So again, the botanicals that I was showing you in my jars, they were all very thoughtfully selected and in their specific ratios as well too, in order to fit all these different cocktails so effortlessly Whereas before Ford's came out, you would use, one style of gin for that cucumber drink we're talking about, use another gin for your gin tonic, another style for a martini, so forth. And then the next thing you know, you have 4 or 5 gins on your bar cart at home and you don't have room anymore. So Ford's was really designed to be that one-stop shop. Like Jeremy said in his email, it's the jack of all trades when it comes to gin, and really was designed for gin cocktails historically throughout time. So whether it's the 3 we made today, a dirty martini, a classic Negroni, keep Ford's in mind for all those different drinks throughout history, because I really do hope you'll find that it fits the bill and really lends itself to these lovely drinks. So
I have a question, Stephanie. It says it's a product of England, but bottled in Yucaipa. So it doesn't come over from England in a bottle, or it goes, what does it do?
Great question. So we used to, everything is now done completely in the United Kingdom, actually. So we no longer bottle in Ukiah. What we had done formerly was take our neutral grain spirit with the botanical base in here. We would ship it over in huge vats, and then we would cut it with local California water to then bottle it. Since my company, Brown-Forman, has purchased Ford's gin in the last 2 years, we've made some changes to that just very recently. So some of these bottles you've seen, it's not like they're old bottles by any means. This is a very new change, but we are now doing that complete process over in the United Kingdom. So moving forward, you will not see Ukiah on our labels.
Well, there's nothing wrong with an old bottle of gin. I mean, really.
No, certainly not. And again, like I said, this is a very, very recent change. We actually, I don't think we even have any bottles here in the United States yet that would have the Ukiah not on them. So it's still very new transition for us as a company. Yeah.
Well,
So
I
that's why I
think this
said
is my
that.
new favorite gin, because I gauge gins by if I can drink them straight and still like them and not be like, whoa, I love it. So I like Ford's gin.
Right.
Try it. It's good.
Okay, we're inviting her to the next party.
Yeah.
Thank you, Deborah. That means so much.
Yeah. Well, awesome, y'all. Yeah, I mean, thank you so much for everybody for coming. I hope you had fun. I'm glad you all found some cocktails that are new and exciting to you. Stephanie, thank you so much for all your knowledge and, everything, putting this all together with me and working on putting this together. It was really exciting, really fun. Anybody have any other questions before we start wrapping up or wrap up?
No question, but thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Stephanie.
Jeremy.
Yes, thank you.
Great timing. Great summer for me.
This timing was definitely great right now. So I hope these drinks will be memorable all summer, and you can
I'll see it for bourbon in the fall.
Love stuff.
Definitely gonna get ready for bourbon season here again.
Yeah,
Real soon. So I hopefully we'll see many of you again soon. We'll do some more whiskey tastings coming up.
Definitely, yeah. And actually, jumping into that, next month I actually already have my next tasting set up. So we're gonna be working with Laws Whiskey out of Denver, Colorado. It's going to be a 4-pack set that will be $37.99, and you'll get a 100 milliliter bottle of their 4-grain bourbon, their San Luis Valley Rye, Sentinel Wheat whiskey, and then their Henry Road Malt whiskey. So yeah, you'll get like 4 little sets of that, or a little 100 milliliter bottle of that in the little 4-pack. We have them at the store. We'll have the email going out next week, probably on Tuesday or Wednesday. So y'all keep an eye out for that. And then we'll have the sets active to purchase. And so the same idea as this.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to be August 12th is the date. So it's actually going to be a Thursday instead of a Friday. And we will have the, I'm blanking on her name right now, but we will have the tour manager of Laws Whiskey, like of the distillery, on the call with us. So we'll have someone who does it for 100 times a week, or how many times often they do it. So she'll be able to get you guys all the information you need.
Perfect.
But yeah, that email will be going out next week, like I said. And this I actually am recording this, so I'll put this up on our YouTube page. And then I will send you all the link as well. So we do have a couple kits left over from this. So I'll set up some more kits. So they will be able to purchase it with the marigold and the peppercorn, because that's kind of a special thing that Stephanie set us up for this event. So we have a handful of those left, so y'all can purchase those and go through the video again with your friends, or just introduce some people to Forge Gin. So yeah.
Yes, that's great.
Yes.
Yeah. Personal person.
No, she likes it.
Thank you so much.
Great
Yeah.
fun.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you all for your time. It was so wonderful to meet so many new Forge Gin fans this evening. Thank you for your time and your interest. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Jeremy, as well, for hosting tonight and allowing me to join this wonderful crew here.
Right on. Well, I
Colleen,
hope
I'm
you
so
all.
glad we found something else in common.
I should
Thank
probably
you.
not go out and finish my painting touch-ups on my house. At this point.
Colleen
Might be
and
a
I have
Saturday
a
job. Yeah.
What, Kate?
Colleen and I have a get together coming up, don't we?
And wearing the same sweater. We've
You
had
know
the
what to
same
wear.
sweater for like
Where
10
do you
years.
have a get together? Is it a
Yeah.
get together that all us gin people can go to?
Oh, yeah.
Definitely
Oh,
this one.
oh, yeah.
When is it? I'm retired. I can come.
She'll drive down. She's in Northern
I
California,
will
but she'll come down,
drive
no
down.
problem.
We'll figure it out. We're in Northern California.
Oh, I'm in Northern California.
Where?
In Placerville.
Oh, okay, a lot farther north than I ever lived. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
I was raised on the peninsula.
Oh, yeah.
Let's
Oh,
go.
I can travel though. I can travel.
Yeah.
Send me
Ready to
information.
party.
I love to get together with booze people.
Don't worry, we'll come to you.
Okay.
Campfire.
Okay.
Right on. Well, thank you, everybody. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your Friday night. Have a great weekend. We'll
Thank
see you all
you.
soon. Thank you very much, Stephanie. Thank you so much.
Here's everyone. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, Kay.
Bye-bye, Colleen. We'll do it.
Cheers.